Now, amid the rising numbers, concern is now growing about Kenya's capacity to test for COVID-19. The government had projected to have tested at least 250,000 cases by June. But, as our very own Enock Sikolia reports, that target now appears way off the mark.
Signs are there that the government will not hit its 3,000 a day coronavirus test target. Health Secretary Mutahi Kagwe pledged to reach the target, but only 1,056 tests were carried out on Sunday. Averagely, the government has been conducting 600 tests daily, a figure way below the bullseye.
Testing is critical for this response.
But this critical exercise is falling apart, at least for now. The targeted mass exercise conducted in Isli and Kangware failed to deliver the desired result. It was put on temporary hold as the team retreated to address issues hampering the efforts that seek to curtail the virus from spreading further into the population. The testing did not just meet the target for the 3 days they were in Kenya's hotspots. An average of 500 tests were done against a daily target of 3,000.
You know, we've seen some kind of community resistance at some point. So you may need to give time for the community health workers or for the local administration to actually talk to people, create awareness, so that you have a more, informed process.
As government goes back to the drawing board, Dr. Gitahi is offering some thoughts.
The fear of what happens when you test positive is what is keeping people away. And those fears are created by two things. One is the stigma that the people who love you and the people you love may start to avoid you. Secondly is the issue of when I go and I'm told to isolate, what happens to me? Will I pay? And what's the condition of isolation? Will I be comfortable inside there for those 14 days? And this is important that the government, as we work together, must ensure that the places where we isolate people are humane, they are compassionate, and they are as close as possible to the life that people left behind.
The target by the government is to test 250,000 people by the end of June. Mathematically, it's probable the government will register another failure. In 59 days, the government has only managed to conduct 32,097 tests, which means it has to carry out 217,903 tests in 51 days. This translates to 4,273 tests a day. Mission impossible? The government says its target is still within reach. Its hopes hinged on the capacity of laboratories installed with PCR machines to do tests.
We are going to require to be able to do these things within the counties for the quick turnaround of results and the appropriate action that is required.
The question has remained to be, what is the capacity in counties to shove the numbers? Indeed, counties have been announcing capacities to conduct thousands and thousands of tests, but these proclamations are yet to reflect. A report to Parliament even suggested that Kenya has a capacity of carrying out 37,000 tests a day. The problem is, less than 1,000 are being utilized.
So when you say we have capacity for 2,000, you're basically saying you have laboratory capacity. Your lab, you have a machine that can test 2,000. But then you need the samples collected, you need them transported, you need the test to perform the test. So saying capacity doesn't mean it equates to number of tests you can produce. So this is what we are talking about. And remember that even as we say we have capacity, it's, this capacity is waiting for all this other infrastructure to be available, which is what the government is doing. And you may have tests, but then you run out of samples to collect the samples.
According to sources, the government might extend mass testing to 6 more estates in Nairobi County based on the number of infections. Enock Sikolia, Citizen TV.